Hello, friends. Welcome to Story Behind Podcast. This is the show for people who love hearing a good story and who believe the world could use more positivity. We're the team behind GodUpdates and God2, and we hope these weekly short stories will brighten your day.
Pregnant woman goes into cardiac arrest while chasing her dog. Then God sent help. Written by Heather Riggleman, read by Julie Provost. A pregnant woman goes into cardiac arrest while chasing her dog. Then God sent help and saved her life. It was just an ordinary summer evening in Greene, Ohio. Tracy Anton had come home from work, slipped into the rhythm of her night, and stepped outside to let her dog run. But when the dog darted off, Tracy followed, and in an instant her heart stopped beating. At 27 weeks pregnant, Tracy collapsed in her yard. She never even felt herself fall, but God did, and he was already sending help. Julie, a neighbor and grade school teacher, happened to glance from her living room window just as Tracy went down. It was very scary, Julie later admitted. You train for CPR, you practice and get certified every year, but when it's real, it's terrifying. You don't know if you're making a difference. Julie didn't hesitate. She ran across the lawn and began chest compressions. At the very same moment, a nurse driving by noticed the scene unfolding and stopped the car. Together they took turns pressing life back into Tracy's chest until the Greene fire crew arrived. Tracy's 14-year-old stepson ran to her side too, confused and frightened, but unwilling to leave her. He had only gone looking to see why she hadn't come back inside. Instead, he found himself kneeling beside his stepmom, watching neighbors and strangers fight to keep her alive. By the next morning, she was stabilized, and her son Noah was delivered by C-section, 12 weeks early, but alive. Alive because help had come, alive because God had answered. When Tracy finally woke up 3 days later, she couldn't remember what had happened. But she knew this: everybody who walked my path that day was there for a reason, and all contributed to me and my baby's life, she said. Definitely, God has his hand in all of this. And you know, it's not just a miracle, it's a double miracle, because both me and my baby were saved. And maybe that's the beauty tucked inside this story, how God threads strangers, neighbors, and family together into the fabric of a miracle. Tracy holds onto that truth now, knowing Noah one day hear how his life began with the sound of his mother's heart being restarted. Because that's how God works. He answers our prayers in the moment when we don't even know we need to be praying. He sends help before we even know to call it. Before they call, I will answer. While they are still speaking, I will hear. Isaiah 65:24.
At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than money. It's a way to support the people, causes, and community you love. Because helping you put your faith into action is at the heart of what we do. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. But Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. Christian Healthcare Ministries is an alternative to health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills while lifting one another in prayer. It's financial and spiritual support when you need it most. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
Boy who survived shark attack shares that Jesus was there with him on that day. Written by Heather Riggleman, read by Julie Provost. A boy who survived a shark attack shares that Jesus was there with him on that day. It was a sunlit August Saturday, the kind of day where the sea glimmers like glass and horizon seems stitched together by God himself. Mary and Jameson Reeder had taken their 4 children out 9 miles from shore to snorkel the crystal waters of Blue Key Reef in the Florida Keys. The kids dove and splashed, their laughter rising like gulls above the waves. But in one breath, their world fractured. 10-year-old Jameson Jr. had slipped beneath the surface, a GoPro in hand, eager to capture the wonders of the reef. And then his father remembers it like a nightmare you can't wake up from. I heard the screaming. Mary thought it was a jellyfish sting until she and Jameson pulled their son into the boat. What they saw would sear itself into memory. His lower leg was all bone, Mary said, just below the knee, all the way to the ankle and the foot. An 8 to 10 foot long bull shark had attacked their boy. They were still 9 miles from land. The nearest hospital is 20 miles away. Mary's chest filled with a terror too big to hold. I'm going to lose my son. But God was already there. Help came in the form of other boaters, one with a nurse who leapt into blood-darked waters with a first aid kit, even though the shark might still be circling. Strangers became lifelines, neighbors at sea. Back at the marina, an ambulance waited to carry Jameson to a church parking lot, where a helicopter whisked him to Nicholas Christian's Hospital in Miami. After 10 hours of surgery, doctors could not save his leg, but they saved his life. And that's where the story bends toward a miracle. When Jameson woke, pale and stitched back together, he had a story of his own. While I was drifting in and out of consciousness on the boat, he told his parents, I saw a person on fire standing on the boat. His voice was steady. He wasn't frightened. He was comforted. To him it was clear. That was Jesus, he said. The one who walks on water had climbed right into the boat. Mary and Jameson Sr. believe it too. Every moment felt like we had been guided, Jameson Sr. said. I felt so certain God was leading every snap decision. And their son, he had no doubt. His faith had been carved deep, stronger than the scar that now winds down his leg. Even now, Jameson Jr. dreams of returning to the reef, to stand again in the place where life and death collided and where Jesus showed up. The family calls it a miracle, a double one, life spared, faith ignited. And maybe that's the truth at the heart of it, how Jesus doesn't always take away the storm, but he always steps into the boat with us. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers they shall not overwhelm you. Isaiah 43:2.
Thank you so much for listening to Story Behind Podcast. We're really glad you joined us for this week's story. To see photos and videos that may have been referenced in this episode, check out the links in the show notes. And if you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe to our podcast, and please tell a friend about us. We'd also love it if you'd rate us and leave us a review. It really does help more people find us. Story Behind is a Salem Web Network production.
What happens when a writer and former history teacher goes toe-to-toe with his best friend, a nationally touring stand-up comedian? Total carnage, that's what. 2 men enter, and 2 men leave, because that's how it works.
Actually, you get hilarious, real, and insightful conversations about life, history, culture, faith, and everything in between.
Join me, comedian Johnny W., and my pal, author and speaker John Driver for Talk About That at lifeaudio.com or wherever you get your podcasts.